Hey, I'm Adam with Wings and Wheels, and today we are continuing our breakdown of the LXNAV Hawk software by going over calibration. Now, we've already covered a basic overview of the Hawk software, so if you haven't seen that video, feel free to go check it out and then come back to this one once you've finished. Now, once Hawk is installed on your system, you need to do a few things to get it ready to fly, such as tweak some parameter settings and calibrate it to your glider. Now, I don't have a glider here to show you how to do it properly, so let's head over to the workshop. All right, so we just purchased Hawk, we activated it on the 9070, and the first thing we need to do before we fly is calibrate it, or it's not gonna work properly. So let's go ahead and get the avionics powered on so we can set the Vario parameters. Before we start setting parameters and calibrating the Hawk software, make sure that your LX system is updated to the most recent firmware. You can find the firmware updates on LXNAV's website under Downloads. Now, if you have the Wi-Fi add-on, your system will automatically give you the option to update the firmware when it connects to the internet. So to access the Hawk parameters, you gotta go to Setup and then to the Vario parameters menu. Now, LXNAV recommends setting the wind variance to 0.11, the horizontal wind average to 30 seconds, and the vertical wind average to 10 seconds. Next, you're going to want to go to the Setup, go to Hardware, Vario indicator, and then change the SC, the speed command needle, to Netto, and make sure that you have both Hawk and Vario needles displayed. Now, you can have these settings however you want, but the ones that I showed you is what is recommended by LXNAV. So next, we need to calibrate the Hawk to the Twin Shark. Now, to do this, we need to level the fuselage to the angle at which the weight imbalance is done. Now, this can be a little bit involved, so we do recommend having another person with you. If you want to find this angle for your glider, you need to look in your maintenance manual. But for the Twin Shark, the first thing that we need to do is create a wedge with a 1000 to 20 ratio. Now, there's a few different ways that we can do this, but at minimum, we're going to need a long block of wood, a level, and some way to cut the block of wood. Since the ratio for the Twin Shark is 1000 to 20, I am going to mark off 1 meter on the bottom here and then 20 millimeters on the height. And then draw a line to connect my two markings, and this is where I will need to cut. Now you can see how small the angle is here at only 1.15 degrees, so it may be a little difficult to cut. But don't worry, there are two other ways that you can make this wedge. Your second option is to take 3 blocks of wood, 2 small and 1 long, and mark your height on the small blocks and your length on the long one. Clamp the two together where the points meet and you will have your wedge. The third option is if you have a longer level like this, and you can clamp 2 small blocks of wood to it. This level is 90 centimeters long, but the angle is going to start at the 80 millimeter point. So if we do a little bit of math, we can mark the block at 16 millimeters instead of 20. Clamp the block to the level and you have your wedge. All right, so we got the fuselage level, and the way that we did this is we took a sawhorse and we put some blankets on top, so if we needed any extra height on the tail, we could just jumble up the blankets a little bit until we got the glider at the attitude we needed it at. So if we get our wedge that we made, put it on the tail like this, you'll see that it is just about level. Here, you want to come take a look at the bubble real quick. Just about perfect. So now that we got the fuselage where we want it, let's go back and calibrate Hawk. All right, so before we actually go ahead and calibrate Hawk, there is one more important detail that we need to go over. Now, if we put the level here on the fuselage, you'll notice that it's not level horizontally. Now, it's very important that when you are calibrating Hawk, you need to make sure that the fuselage is level on all axes. So before we go ahead and do this, we're gonna go ahead and level this. All right, ready, push it towards the wall. Too much, go the other way. A little bit more. Too much. Now you're way too far. The bubble's all the way on the other side now. A little more, little corrections. A little bit more. Oh, and you're there. There you go. All right, so after moving the tail a little bit, if we come back over here, we will see that the bubble is level and the fuselage is level on all axes. All right, so now that we have the fuselage where we want it, we can actually go ahead and calibrate the Hawk software. Now to do that, let's back out of this menu, and you're going to be in the hardware menu, but all you need to do is scroll down to AHRS. You're going to be brought to here. And then all you're going to need to do is click level, click yes, and then a countdown is going to start. Now, if you notice, we leveled the fuselage and look how off the Hawk software is. From here, it will take a few seconds to fully calibrate. But once this countdown is finished, we can move on to the final step in the calibration process. Now there is one last parameter that you need tweaked before the Hawk software is completely calibrated. We've calibrated the Twin Shark on the longitudinal axis and the lateral axis so far, but we still need to calibrate it on the vertical axis as well. This can be done through the yaw offset option in the AHRS menu. Now keep in mind that this process needs to be done while flying, and you can't do it on the ground. Your first step is to activate the side slip nav box to view your flight computer's interpretation of your glider on the vertical axis. Your next step is to cruise with the yaw string centered, and if the number shown is not 0, then you need to set the yaw compensation value accordingly. Once you've done this, then you have successfully calibrated the Hawk software. All right, well, that is going to be it for this video. Now remember, I have linked manuals to both the LXNAV flight computers and the standalone variometers where the Hawk operating instructions are located if you need to refer to it. I've also linked our website in the description below if you are interested in Hawk for yourself. But other than that, that is going to be it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.